They're on the front line. They're the first ones who, in the communities, sees the need. What greater avenue in the world to be able, instead of a cop pulling up and giving you a speeding ticket? That a cop arrives at your house someday and gives you a ticket that you can go cash to help buy groceries or help pay the mortgage. It's just a tremendous avenue where we can get to the gut level of serving.
Cancer is a terrible disease. It affects families in so many negative ways. It ruins people, it ruins marriages, finances. It's a terrible monster.
My grandma actually passed away from a type of skin cancer that they say won't kill you. It's basal cell carcinoma, and they say that there's usually a 5% chance that it will mastise, and my grandma was one of those 5%. It mastised into her brain, and we watched her slowly just wilt away, and her face was completely deformed by the time she passed. It was pretty brutal.
I was told when I initially found out that I had stage 4 cancer, it had spread through many parts of my body, and that they would treat it to kind of prolong it, but it would eventually kill me, and that I probably would not see my daughter's first day of kindergarten. And that's hard. It was very hard for me.
When I originally saw him, the size of the growth that I had was about the size of a $50. A month later, when I returned to the hospital, it was about the size of a grapefruit. And one test revealed that it was indeed bone cancer.
I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I missed my little girl's birthday. I spent the first 4th of July ever by myself at the hospital. Following that, I got out and I received 16 chemo treatments.
My surgery entailed them removing my right chest wall, which was my 4th through 8th rib, my sternum, and complete reconstruction of my back and my chest.
I've had 5 different Mohs surgeries. It's where they go in and they take pieces of the skin and freeze it, put it under a microscope, and kind of map out the cancer, and just go from there. They just keep cutting away until the cancer is gone.
I was in hospital for a straight month. I don't remember much of that. I was 215 pounds and went down about 165 pounds. Extreme vomiting, violent vomiting, just no energy, nothing. I didn't have much left except my... What helped me up was my family, my friends. That's what kept me going. Because without that, I wouldn't be.
It's hard. It takes you back to make you look at, did I do something when I was pregnant? Is there something that I could have prevented to save him from going through what he went through? It's hard seeing him because you can't take that away. As a parent, you want to take all of the bad away and put it onto yourself instead of seeing your child suffer.
thought I was in the clear, and it came back. I had 6 more chemo treatments, and at that point was told after a PET scan that instead of going away or shrinking, it grew larger.
It's the one phone call no parent wants. It was a phone call where the doctor said, go ahead and get your family and come on down to my office so we can talk.
The physical pain is huge.
You know, it's something that they can't tell you over the phone. So it's something that important that you have to hear in person.
It's almost like feeling like you're sitting in front of somebody that's just, chipping away at your skin, and you don't know when they're going to stop, and you don't know what you're going to look like when you come out.
And the news that we got was Derek has desmoid fibromatosis. And we asked the question, what is that? And the answer that we got was, I don't know. We don't know.
Afterwards, it's just the pain of trying to go out and face society when your face is all mangled up, or you just don't feel like yourself.
Cancer destroys lives.
Cancer sucks.
Cancer sucks.
Cancer sucks. Why not cops? When I first heard about Jim and cops fighting cancer, and heard the stories, and the theme going through all those stories, the same thing over and over, he gave me hope. And that's just a hard project to turn down when somebody's selling hope.
It was May of 2003. I read an article about a little girl, Brianna Roberts, and Brianna had a rare tumor on her vaginal wall, and it was the size of a lemon. And so they were in Loma Linda, California.
Doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how much success you've had. When you get the notice, you get the big C. Everything becomes relative.
It just kind of lit a fire underneath me. And I said, I am not going to just sit here and do nothing.
If we can just play a little bit of part in providing some hope to that world, rich or poor, we have something to offer all of them.
And that's how Cops Fighting Cancer was born.
Having Cops Fighting Cancer become not only a national product, but an international product. Can you imagine multiplying those nationwide, all the families who need help, and then internationally, is something as chairman of the board that I'd like to see happen.
We give these families hope when they have no hope. We give them support when a lot of these families have no support. And we take that extra step to show them that sense of compassion.
You don't only just get a bill from the hospital. You get a bill from your time at the hospital. You get a bill from the chemo medication itself. You get a bill from the labs, from the blood they drew. You get a bill from the oncologist, from the nurse.
I just felt like I hit rock bottom and didn't know what I was going to do. I told my mom that I couldn't receive no more treatment. I couldn't go back because I couldn't afford it. The cost it was going to cost was more than my monthly mortgage, more than my monthly household bills, and I couldn't do it. There's just absolutely no way.
You realize, we've got to go through this battle, but how am I going to go through this part of the battle? How am I going to take care of that?
I was with a gentleman not too long ago, and he was just amazed that we showed up with a check to support his family and daughter.
I went over and I met James, and he told me who he was from the Cops Fighting Cancer and kind of about his organization, and gave me a background on his story and said that he wanted to help me. He gave me a check and said it wasn't much and he wished it could be more, but with just that little bit, I was able to get my treatment. It helped me pay my deductibles that I couldn't afford and made me feel like there was hope. I really did.
Not everybody knew what we were struggling with, and we were just at that bottom line. I just felt so insecure about our life, or our finances are in turmoil. My health is not good, and our marriage had been up and down, and so it was awesome that we had that financial help right when things were on the brink of destruction.
Jim pulls up in his cruiser and says, "Hey, buddy." I said, "Hey, how are you?" He goes, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm hanging in there." He hugs me, and he goes, hands me a check and says, "This is what God put on my heart to give you." And it just so happened that one day later, our mortgage was due, and our power was going to get shut off. And sure enough, that enabled us to be able to pay those things and take that stress off.
My kids have never really had to go without a Christmas, and that's the issue we were facing this past Christmas. I had been missing a lot of work, and it was just, things were were really rough. And I opened my mail one day to find out that he then sent gift cards and a check, and it said, "You are not to use this to pay bills. You are not to use this on anything but the kids. All of it is 100% to be to the kids." And the kids had a wonderful Christmas.
We're an economy that's draining a lot of charities. And there's many, many charities that you could bless and give to. Our hearts are with Cops Fighting Cancer.
As a founder and president of Cops Fighting Cancer, I can tell you I will do anything for my families. I will give my life for my families.
There are many places you can give money, but we're asking you to consider Cops Fighting Cancer in a very practical way where we can make a difference. So thank you for giving.
I mean, now is the time. You've heard these remarkable stories about these remarkable families and children. I'm pleading with organizations, companies.
It's our desire that on the streets that men and women who are wearing the uniform would be able to knock on a front door and give a check to somebody who needs to buy groceries, who needs to make a house payment. Just enough to get them through the next day.
To just sit there and do nothing is a travesty, to be honest with you. We're obligated to help people in general. It could be about volunteering, helping people, donating your time, putting events together. Do something. Please go to our website at copsfightingcancer.org.